This is IGN. Abel Tesfaye's performance takes My Life, a Movie for Real to new indulgent heights. This is your IGN review of Hurry Up Tomorrow by Toussaint Egan. If I told you that Hurry Up Tomorrow, the latest on-screen vanity project co-written by and starring Abel Tesfaye, opens with the Canadian singer-songwriter, sometime actor blowing raspberries at his own reflection in a dressing room mirror for a solid minute, would you believe me? As far as first images go, it's a pretty apt summation of the experience as a whole. Your reaction to it is a fairly solid indication of whether you'll be on board for what little Hurry Up Tomorrow has to offer. Your thoughts on the music Tesfaye has made and the public persona he's cultivated as The Weeknd notwithstanding. Named after Tesfaye's latest studio album and directed by It Comes at Night's Trey Edward Schultz, the navel-gazing and overindulgent Hurry Up Tomorrow centers around a fictionalized account of the days preceding and following an incident in 2022, in which Tesfaye lost his voice while performing on stage in Los Angeles. It cuts back and forth between the Can't Feel My Face singer as himself, preparing for a series of performances with his entourage in tow, including Lee, played by Barry Keoghan, his manager and confidant, and Anima, played by Jenna Ortega, a mysterious woman who is drawn to Tesfaye, and whose name may or may not be an overt nod to the Jungian psychological concept of the same name. If there's a salvageable performance to be found here, it's Ortega's. When we first meet Anima, she's choking back tears while frantically pouring a canister of gasoline throughout an abandoned house, which we soon enough realize is Tesfaye's childhood home, before fleeing the scene in a dilapidated Jeep. It's easy to assume, then, that Ortega's character represents one of the many, many women Tesfaye has loved and left behind in his meteoric rise to the top. But looks can be deceiving. What at first appears to be a manic pixie fangirl slowly but surely reveals itself to be something far darker and complex. Unlike either Tesfaye or Keoghan's characters, Anima has depth, if only barely more than a puddle, and dimension, if only more than two. The music, as you can likely guess, is made up almost entirely from tracks pulled from the Hurry Up Tomorrow album and earlier Tesfaye releases. There are a few notable exceptions. Frequent collaborator and Uncut Gems composer Daniel Lopatin teams up with Tesfaye once again to provide the score for Hurry Up Tomorrow, lacing the brooding visuals with the discordant ambient menace and mischievous experimentation that is the signature of his own long-running pseudonymous project 10 Point Never. I'd say this movie would have been a better album, but, well, it's literally a movie based on an album. Hurry Up Tomorrow gets the most conceptually interesting during its back half. In a series of dreamlike vignettes, Schultz obliquely references great works from the pantheon of cinematic madness. The Shining, Misery, Vanilla Sky, and American Psycho each get a nod. He gets in on the snake eating its own tail Act 2, throwing It Comes at Night, ominous recurring Red Dawn all into the mix. Beyond these surface-level allusions, however, the film struggles and fails to assert its own identity. It's an exquisite corpse of borrowed motifs and imagery resuscitated against its own will, and ours too. It's alive, if only barely. Hurry Up Tomorrow is a self-insert fan fiction interspersed with sporadic bursts of head-banging beats that morphs into a pop star's dark night of the soul. As it wails blindly into the abyss, star Abel Tesfaye, aka The Weeknd, and director Trey Edward Schultz pack in referential nods to other better films. It's no Purple Rain, though Jenna Ortega is a much better on-screen foil for Tesfaye than Apollonia was for Prince, but it at least manages to find a handful of visually stimulating moments amid the vapidity. Hurry Up Tomorrow's IGN score? 5 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest Hurry Up Tomorrow updates, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.